Good.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to call the meeting of the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust to order for Monday, the 24th at 1:20 p.m. Could I have a roll call, please?
Dave Worland, present.
Cynthia Boundy, present.
Veronica Cal, present.
Beverly Napier, present.
All right. So our agenda includes mostly a review of the Affordable Housing Trust Action Plan. So we have Karen Chapman from NRDC here with us today. Oh, those there.
That's better.
The other two things on the agenda are there's the 14th and 15th of June MHP's conference. So we need to sign up for that.
Those are awesome.
I think it's at Dublin. You guys are out of
We are out of the country.
Oh, when is it?
June
June
14th and 15th.
Okay.
So it's not till
One
June.
day in person, one day online.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But they do have good food there.
Oh, all right.
I've been every year that I've been able to, and it really is great.
Yeah.
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 So I'm sorry, because it'd be great to split up and go to different
Yeah.
conferences
Sure
and then
would.
share.
I'm planning to go, so if you are too, if you're able, we'll cover what we can.
All right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I'm going down to the third thing on the agenda is the housing network
Oh,
that
yeah.
we're part of. I sent you the email yesterday. I CC'd you on what I sent to Alyssa because my town email will no longer work for today. So I don't have a townma.gov.
What's your,
It's I'm using my old BOS one before they go. So it's bcalbos@gmail.com
wait, so that's gonna be yours from now on?
for town until I change it.
Okay.
It should say bcal.
Well, you could just send a group thing to all of us
I'll
and
send
then
it
we'll
to
have
all of you.
Right.
I'll do that. But I handed your name to Elizabeth so that she
Oh.
will include you
Oh, in the
on
next,
the meeting.
the next secret meeting.
Yeah, those meetings are excellent. Your mom's there. The ones.
Oh, okay, you had to bring it up.
They are excellent meetings. I
Yeah.
just learned so much from listening to everybody talk about
Yes.
things
Yeah.
Yeah.
and writing notes.
Mhm.
So I will, I do have 2 pages of notes that I took last time that I will copy. It'll be handwritten, my handwritten stuff, and I'll send it to all of you. But May 11th is the next one and we'll be out of the country.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah.
if you can go, are you guys around then?
We're back on the
Cindy
8th.
can't?
Yeah, we're back on the 8th.
Yeah, if Cindy can't, maybe one of you could.
Yeah.
Do you want to write that down?
I'm just, yeah, no, I should be able to run.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
should be able to run.
Right.
And you can all guess which one's my mother. She looks like me, but 23 years older
It's true.
and gray hair. So really, she looks nothing like me.
Can I ask you, like, before we get into this, like, old
Uh-huh.
business, two questions that were kind of lingering? Well,
Yeah.
not lingering.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bank thing, I did some research myself, and it appears that in a checking account for a municipal account, the 2% actually is pretty good.
Oh,
But
good.
my question was, are we bound to that bank? And are we bound to only a checking account? Because a savings account, you can do way better. And we're not spending all this 5-year plan money immediately,
No,
right?
we're not. No, it'll be the first, 50K or so, and then the other.
So we could actually put 50 in a
For a
4 or
year.
5%,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. But again, I don't know how the town does this, if everybody has to be in the same.
The bank that we're bound by is the bank that the treasurer chooses.
Yeah, and that is a bank that does municipal stuff. That's their thing.
Right.
But again, I just,
What bank is it?
Unibank?
yeah, which I've never heard of. But I went and did some research on it, and it, like I say, it appears that an account like that has to, it pays terrible for checking, but not as terrible as your account at like Workers
Yes.
or Enterprise or whatever. So,
Yeah.
the other question is the trust a 501c3?
No, and we will not be.
Okay, and so if somebody wanted to donate money, Could they write it off as a, not as a 501c3, could they still get the tax credit?
Because of the municipality's tax exempt
Oh,
status.
good, okay, so they
So
answered that.
it won't be for our tax exempt status. It will be part of the town because we are an entity of the town.
Okay, good, so that's good news.
Yeah,
And then the last question was, we were gonna look into a forester just to find out if there was any,
yes, with that,
because there might be some money.
Bay State, well, we've always
we've
used.
always used Bay State, but Eric left all my contacts.
Oh, Eric left?
Yes,
Oh,
he
then-
went, so I don't know who, I haven't used a forester. Eric left during the pandemic, maybe midway through. And I don't know who is
That's-
covering this
Oh, big
district yet.
lots.
Okay,
And I haven't seen Bay State signs around in town much at all since that happened.
yeah, who did we
So-
use, you remember? Was it Bay State?
What are
I
you
forget
talking
who
about?
we used when we did our
It
forestry.
probably would have,
But-
but
but the-
it was the man who died from cancer.
That's the one,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
one, yeah, he
That
was so nice.
He was wonderful.
Dan,
Yes,
Dan.
And he had a young guy who's still working there.
that was Eric.
Oh, that's Eric.
Eric left.
Oh,
Midway.
I didn't know that. But yeah, they were the ones who did our,
I can't, he lived in Peterborough. And it might come to me.
okay, but anyway, I wanted to make sure that that was still something we could look into, because
If you want to look, if you want to take it upon yourself
Sure.
to look into that,
I will.
that would be
But does
great.
it have to be the
Because-
same one that's doing all the work for the region, for the town, or does it matter? Can it go
I
out to
think we
bid?
can do whoever, well, forestry plans, typically, we can get, I think we can get, grants for forestry plans from the state to pay for them. And I imagine we would be able to benefit from that. Because that's how the land trust has done our forestry plans. We would get a grant from the state to do them, and then we would work with Bay State.
But do you think that the trust will have property long enough that that would be an issue?
Depends on the maturity of the trees. They look at it and they go, yeah, this is a good project, or no, these are too young.
I'm
Come back in 10
wondering,
years.
the two big properties that we have, the South Road Road and the one up on.
So you just want to do a single cutting before you develop it?
Correct.
You don't want like a 10-year management?
Well,
I could do that too, but we don't know, if somebody wants to purchase the
Right.
land,
Right.
it's really up to them what they want to do. So
Right.
committing a 10-year plan and making that part of when you transfer the property
Mhm.
is kind of, it's
okay. if
one more
we're
thing
not
that
doing
might
repair,
screw up a deal.
Then we can just contact foresters and we would pay anything that would need to be paid
Yeah.
or,
They take a percentage.
they take a percentage,
Yeah.
right?
But you're really not paying them anything. They're just, if they agree to do it, they
Right.
give you a plan, you go, all right. Or no.
So, yeah, so do you want to take that?
Sure.
Yourself?
Sure, I'll look at
Call
it.
around and see what the deal is?
Yeah, yeah,
with that?
yeah. As long as I'm clear on the parcels that we're telling them to look at. So talk
They're
about it.
the 6 that we have and in this plan.
Okay.
Right.
That's all my stuff.
Because that would make sense, I would think. It would give us a little more funds.
Mhm.
And your contact for any questions, well, because I'm going to be gone mostly for the next month, is Eric Seibel, Town Hall. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
You don't have to convince me. He's
So,
proven, he's proven.
Yeah.
He's normal.
he is, yes.
He doesn't have an agenda. He likes land use.
Right. Yeah.
He's smart.
That's smart,
You
yeah.
know, he knows how to navigate the system.
Mm. That's very important. Oh, and we're recording.
So anyway, yeah, and anything else, Dave, before?
No, that's,
These are good questions. They're things that I'm just not going to be able to do a lot for the next month. But I'm leaving on Thursday to Monday. I'm doing a knitting thing with my friend down in Maryland. And then I come home and I leave on the 3rd. We're walking the Cotswold Way in England.
me.
So we won't be back till like the 20th. So the month is, and then when I come back, I'm back.
And then we're gone.
And then you're gone, yeah.
Where are you going? Are you going somewhere?
Greece,
Oh, nice.
going on we're going on a private yacht to the islands in the Aegean. But we don't even know which islands because they say it's weather driven, so you can pick all you want, but when you get there, they go, well, can't go there today. We're going right here.
Oh,
It's
nice. Wow, wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a bucket list. We're going with 4 other couples, so it's not like we can afford it ourselves.
That's great, though. That is wonderful.
Dave says to me the other day, so when you were in Greece, did you do this or do that? And I said, let me think. I said, well, you know what? I don't remember. It's been 50 years since I've been there. I went, 50 years?
It's shocking.
I bet it's changed.
Yeah, I bet a little bit. All right, so we'll look at dates for meetings at the end, but let's talk about our doing.
All right.
So
All right.
sorry, I didn't print it out in color.
That's
so that
okay.
you could see, but wherever there's a line on the margin is where there's,
Do you need one to look at while we talk? I can share Cindy's.
Oh, you can have one?
Here's 4.
Oh, you got 4.
I brought 4.
You want to share that?
Yeah, I'll share that. I did read through it. Oh, no,
Okay.
believe it or not, I did. I thought it was good.
Okay.
I didn't have any major issues, so you should tell us where we should have major issues.
Yeah.
The beginning part where you made all these changes, I liked,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I just made it sound, I made the changes that you guys had talked about before, and I added in the budget tables and the tables for the properties and your
Mhm.
plans. But then I read through it and, made some language changes to make it sound better or what have you. So it's really there's nothing really earth shattering that I added.
But it made it read way better
Okay.
than it had been, I thought. So, there was a place where you took out all the twos or some such thing in a list or, where the thes or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I guess I would say just, take it home and read it. And I mean, I think we're close to being done with it. On page 5, that was already there. Was it already there? Oh, yeah, the table of the, area median income numbers.
Those look great because I just did the CPA numbers
Yep.
for, the flyer that I, did for Earth Day. And I know it's these numbers that were, on that's what you're exempted for if you're the middle row there, the
Mhm.
third row down. If you are, for the Community Preservation Act, if that is your income, you're not a senior, 60 and above, the numbers are really generous. They're the next line down for seniors. The 97,850, the, 111, that.
What, I don't understand the fair market rents. I mean, they seem, for this area, seem quite high. Are they not? I mean, what is this, like Massachusetts or Boston? What is this?
So they divide up the states and the whole nation, in fact, into metropolitan statistical areas. And what they do is they look at the data and they see, like, this group of communities looks similar in area median income and other factors. So we're going to group all them together. So we're in the Boston, Quincy, Nashua, New Hampshire metropolitan statistical area.
Yeah,
So it's sort of Middlesex. And
so it's huge, really high for here.
For
Right.
us.
Right.
Okay,
So I mentioned in here somewhere that while the area median income, according to HUD, is going up, Townsend's residents' income is going down.
It is.
Yes.
And
Is that
then
because of age?
it's more the senior population.
So the population, senior
People are
population is
retired.
increasing, so they only have
Ah,
fixed income and, it's just, and I think it's all, until COVID just took everything and
mhm, mhm,
flipped it around.
mhm, mhm.
But I mean, we can only go by the statistics that we have now, so, It is depressing that the area income is going up and it's not here.
Hmm.
The other table that I added was on page 12, was your 5-year budget.
When I looked at that, it was what what
That's
we had
what you
given
had
you.
given me. I changed some of the words
And
and the source of income and sort of made the forestry plan a thing for all of the years, depending on which properties you were.
I like that way you did that. That made sense. So.
Bless you.
Mhm.
I mean, and this is general. You'll look at this plan every year and say, oh, well, that's not what we want. We don't want to.
Well, and you see,
Do a new
you see what's actual when
Right,
you're looking back and you go, all right, now we can readjust.
right. And you don't know as you go along, are people going to donate land? Are they going to donate money? You know, so every year you have to do it. One thing I didn't know, ARPA needs to be spent by 25 or 26?
26.
Oh, it is 26.
26.
Okay, so that,
So the money has already committed. So the funds that the town gets has to be committed by December of 2024. We've already committed all our
Right.
funds. And the trust ARPA funds have been moved to the account that we were talking about
Right.
earlier. So they're separated out from the town already. So that's done, but we do have to expend by December of 2026.
okay,
So,
I'll change that back then.
and there is a movement in the House to
To give more.
claw back monies that aren't committed. You know, to say that if they aren't committed,
We're
now
gonna take them back.
You
we're
lose
taking
it.
them back.
Yeah, use it or lose.
And because we jumped on this early, that had more to do with the fact that we didn't have a town administrator in place, and you had Ron and Cal looking at it with the Board of Selectmen. And there were all these rules, and I was afraid we got the money in July and the guidance, and we were supposed to report in October.
Mhm.
And so I said, that's it. We are committing everything now. And so as a select board, we, you know, have those meetings with the town and did all that, and we're all committed. So there's no money to claw back, but it isn't all expended. That will be over time.
So I added the budget. I said below is the trust proposed budget. Do you want me to just say budget instead of proposed? I mean, I assume that you guys discussed this and put the numbers in, and
Or you could say estimated.
Yeah, that might.
estimated's probably better.
Yeah. Because, and you can see that we tried to expend all the ARPA funds in the first 2 years.
Yes, I saw that,
The
yes.
first 2
Yep.
fiscal years, so that we would be sure to do that. And then we need, you know, to either sell or, you know, be ready to do grants
Mhm.
or whatever to continue on, or to CPA funding,
Right.
which is on it's article what? It's either 16 or 18.
We want an override and more taxes from people.
We talked about this before you got here, and I thought that, you know, we gotta figure out how to do the best sales job.
It's official. We don't need to have the override. Just know that. On
You know,
Friday
I-
night, the school committee met. I can do this because Eric has received the official letter now. And in fact, we had, I'm just going to pull 320,000 roughly to give them. It's in the budget. I don't have that with me. That's what we could give over and above the 14 million that we already have. That was 320,000, was 2.7% or whatever of what we already give them. And it was a no. They've known this since September.
Mhm.
And no. Pepperell's so our assessment was 1.2 million more than what it was last year. And we only had 320,000. Pepperell's is 2 million some. And they could only give, I think it was 500,000. And poor Ashby was being pummeled. And so anyway, on Friday night they met, And they've come up with all the money and there's no override needed in any town. Our assessment is now, I'm serious. Our assessment is now 23,000 less than, what it was going to be. So we only have to give them less than 300,000.
Where did they find millions of
It's been
dollars?
like this every
school lunch
year that
program.
I've been on the board of selectmen. The town is, okay, so here I am on my rant. The town is, required by Proposition 2.5 to not increase the town's budget by more than 2.5%. Within that is the school budget. The school budget isn't required by law to stay within 2.5%. We told them they had to stay within 2.5%. And every year they don't stay within that. And every year.
What do they do then? They pay the teachers more money?
No, they add more administrators, if you want my opinion, that's me. So I haven't seen what Eric got yet. He just told me that it was official. He texted me on Friday night. But you can't say anything until it's official. It's now official. And so we don't need the override.
So there's not gonna be any. So
The question is on the ballot, but we do not need it for the
The
town.
question is erroneous on.
It's not erroneous. We needed it.
Until we didn't.
Until Friday.
Right.
And of course, the ballots are all printed.
Right.
You can't, and I was at the meeting and put into spoke on March 6th when they were finalizing the budget. I was at the one, what was it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where they voted to, drop a school bus, blah, blah, blah. Part of it is that the legislature is more than likely going to fund 100% of the regional transportation, which they have not been doing ever.
Nice.
Maybe the first year. And so that's a big chunk of it, and they're dropping a school bus. The GIC assessment was lowered for insurance. And I think for retirees or some such thing. That was lowered and they're taking more out of E&D. I think it's all coming.
Wow.
We use 100% of our E&D all the time.
Yeah,
This year's the first year we haven't.
and North Middlesex never, until they're 40.
You're not required to,
Right, no, you're not.
but that money is left over from the previous year, which was voted on by the towns and given by the towns.
Right.
So it technically is the town's.
So anyway, how about that?
Good for CPA.
It is good for CPA. I'm hopeful,
Yeah.
it's a way to do things without having your taxes in. Yeah, people that can afford it in town, because we're voting in the exemptions for the 100,000 and low income and senior. We voted those exemptions, and you do have to apply for those with the assessor's office.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah,
reason.
so you're offering that, that's reasonable, that's.
So there's a handout. Is that to give a little,
Yeah, that's.
get a lot?
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't
that's-
find you, by
Yeah.
the way. We looked.
I printed those.
Don't even get me.
Yeah, let's not,
started.
that's when we're not recording.
Well,
Yeah, we'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Birthday.
Earth Day. How'd you get my
didn't make it.
flyer?
I printed it out.
Oh, give a little,
Didn't you put this online?
oh, did they put it online already? Excellent.
Well, this is before Earth Day.
Yeah, it was, let me see, it was before Earth Day?
Yeah, I found it and printed it out.
Excellent. I'm glad you found it and printed it out.
yeah.
I don't put things online anymore.
The next thing I added,
Okay, moving on.
page 17, appendix C, I populated that with the I talked about the 6 properties that you got. I put a map where the properties are.
Nice.
I put, then the next page is the table with all the parcels, and below that I talk about what the absolute and partial constraints are. And then the next page is the table of what you guys decided about each of the properties.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What about the maps that you created? Did
You want
know
those
that?
in here too?
Because I would like
Okay.
those in here
The-
so that they don't get lost.
These?
The individual
Yeah,
maps?
so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I think,
I thought I meant to put them in.
yeah, I think they should be in there. That way we have it all in one
I
place.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So.
Yep.
And this is what we talked about the last time we met.
Yeah.
And we may find as we start going through the first fiscal year that we do things in a little different order.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on what,
Yep.
how things.
Yep.
Mhm.
yeah, if you decide you're gonna do a wetland delineation and it's cheaper to do all the properties at once rather than one at a time,
Right, then we
Yeah.
might do that.
yeah.
So but
But it's a
then
starting
too, it's
point.
we can only do what's gonna go in 2 years.
Exactly.
Because then.
Then you gotta do it again. You gotta pay for it
You know?
again.
Yeah.
Right,
So, but I can see doing the South Road one and maybe up on Wallace Hill or whatever. What are we doing first?
well, yeah, you can do
Haynes,
both of
Haynes,
those at the
Haynes
same
and
time.
South Road, so it's those two, and then, work with, Fish and Game, figure out what we're doing there, get the surveys done. But I would really like to have a project rolling on next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I believe that was. Besides all
No,
the
this
words
looks good.
here and there.
This looks good.
That was it.
I think that we should finalize,
Yeah.
these were the examples from the, on the toolbox. That's been in. No, I think it looks good, yeah. I don't have,
Yeah, thank you.
I think we should finalize it. You want me to go through and accept things, or?
No, I can do it. I gotta give this back to you because you have your.
I have my stuff on there, yeah.
Yeah, I was almost gonna call you and say, this is not gonna happen. Cause I was sick last week and then I had a death in the family and then I was like,
Right.
oh, it's fine. So I did this after the funeral on Friday, and believe me, it was well received, it got me out of my head,
Oh, good.
so it was good to, I added one thing about what the data suggested.
What page?
On page 4. I forget what they said before, but I reworded the first one and took out cost burden renters out of it and put it as a separate one. Because the first one talked about affordable and accessible, and I couldn't talk about aging and fixed income and disabled along with severely cost burdened tenants, so. So there's really 4 needs. Oh, and that's where I pointed out the decrease in earnings.
Right. Yeah. I really do think it's because of the increase in senior population.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and the kids are leaving. They're getting their employment elsewhere.
Right.
Staying in town. So. All right.
Awesome.
Okay, so we think you should accept all changes and send it out for one more pass. Is that okay?
With Colorman.
With color maps. Pop those in there and then we'll look at it and, if we can each just send Karen an email saying thank you or reply all and, oh, we're not supposed to do that at the meeting hall. I
Right.
keep.
Next meeting.
What are you in Congress?
Yeah. So, yeah. And then I think we have an action plan and we can discuss how to roll it out to the public, because we should
Mhm.
present it to the public. Yep.
What's the forum to do that?
Well, we can talk to Dave about doing a Zoom thing, doing it in town hall, inviting everybody. Nobody will come, right? They'll
They'll watch
tape it and they'll watch it after the fact.
after succession.
Yeah. So that's what will happen. I mean, people do watch stuff on your town's YouTube.
On YouTube. Who
So,
got fired? What date was
Yeah.
that? I want to watch that.
well, this won't be firing anybody.
There was also a conversation when the state rep, Margaret Scarsdale, was here recently about streaming all of that as well
Mhm.
through the town's cable network.
Right.
To not just have cable, but also be able to stream it, which doesn't cost any, it's just a matter of reallocating the funds that you get from the state anyway, which I thought was a really smart idea.
Yeah, I think it was Dave that was talking about.
I think it was Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's brilliant.
I think all Daves are brilliant.
Well, I know a couple that I would not.
I'd like the Wendy's burger day.
I know one too.
Honey.
But anyway, yeah, here's the twos, did all the twos thing.
Oh,
Capitalize it,
yes.
So, anyway,
And if you haven't read through it and you read through it and you discover something, just email me.
We'll let you know.
there was somewhere in here that there was verbiage about, and I'm sure it was stuff that we sent you about working with the housing authority.
Yes.
You added that in. I was going to
Yeah,
say that.
Yeah,
And it was
yes.
in.
I made
here.
it generic enough that it didn't.
Here it is. Assist Townsend Housing Authority with preserving affordability of existing affordable units in Townsend. Yeah. There. Anyway, ensuring an affordable housing trust bylaws, the 5-year goals, I was looking at those. This is page 6. Up at the top there. And some of these we've already kind of accomplished. Kind of. Number 1, evaluate and analyze the trust properties. Number 2, ensure an affordable housing trust bylaw. It's on the town meeting warrant, so it's accepted at town meeting. Assist Townsend Housing Authority with preserving, which we had that written. Work with the housing authority to determine collaboration opportunities to guide our housing goals and objectives. The best funding sources for the trust. Advocate to adopt the CPA at town meeting, which we are doing. Track grant opportunities. Well, we're getting there. Consider using existing trust funds to hire staff. I don't know, there's a lot of these that we've already started for, moved forward with. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I do too.
So, take up this one off the list if we accept it all, it would be.
So we're not doing the rest of the things that were on the contract?
What was on the contract?
Oh, you don't remember? I don't remember. It's
No,
because I did it with Joan
yeah,
when we first.
I'd have to pull it up.
I think there were a couple of implementation items. There was a new bylaw for something. Can't remember.
Okay, so let me look through this stuff.
What I'm saying is this contract ended December 31st, 2022.
It did. But there were a few other things. I think it was, and I think in a sense we've done it. It was to assist us with figuring out what projects to do first, right?
Yeah, but yeah. But there was something about the bylaw or something. Small developments. One of the housing production plan goals. I'll look it up. Because we could maybe do that as part of the housing choice contract. This year's DLTA.
Right. Which may be where it fits more than
Right. I think, Joan was just, trying to get a whole pile of things done. And so she just kept adding.
A 5-year budget. Trustees will consider a 5-year plan for the 6 properties. These were the things that were meet with MRPC to review the DLTA document and discuss next steps in developing a 5-year plan. To me, that was the most important.
Yes, it was.
And that's what we have. Does anybody have that?
I'm going through
Were
my
you even
things.
on the board when we had?
I know, because I was like, how long have I been on the board? I've been.
About a year,
A
maybe?
year.
Not quite a year.
You might have it, Beth. I wouldn't.
I don't know if Beverly was on.
No.
Did all
John would have it.
Well, I have it. It's just back at my office or in my computer.
I'm looking for I know I have it in there. Give me a minute to hunt. Oh, here it is.
No.
Oh, yep, it's like page 6. Let's go.
Meeting to discuss timeline and scope of services. Develop, review the HPP, provide, and develop a draft action. For the local initiative program. Just the local initiative program. That sounds.
He's like, who's doing it?
Okay.
You didn't really discuss.
Procedures for doing a LIP or a local action.
Yeah.
plan.
So how does this work?
Times.
LPA program. All right, these are the, for you guys, this is the service. The LTA grant. That's the most important.
Yeah, I think,
Piece is really the.
Okay, so
in place.
Yeah, just-
Because we're not.
Yeah, it's,
And there
in
is-
MBTA community, it's just a rural. piece.
Yeah, we still do. New grant, a new DLTA grant that's gonna look at that in the coming year.
So in this year, 2023, we have 2 contracts. And one is to evaluate, all of the things
it over to checking as you need it,
Yeah.
if it's in the same bank, which it should be.
As long as there's no penalty with the bank with,
Right.
moving
Right.
anytime you want.
Yeah, the only penalty would be like, some of them set a minimum, you can't get below 500
Yeah.
or 1,000 or whatever.
Mhm.
You lose the interest, but. Yeah.
Cool.
So yes, I'll
Check
introduce
with-
myself to her, and you give her a heads up if you see her,
I will.
watch out for this guy, Dave.
Okay, so, and I will write, I wanted to write, a warrant policy. Adam, the town council had gone over
Awesome.
this with
Yeah.
me. And, I have never written it up on how we get money out. Because it's a separate process from the typical warrant process at town hall.
Mm.
So, because
Oh.
we're the ones that sign off on it, and it comes out of the treasurer's office as opposed to the accountant's office.
Right,
And it doesn't go through the select board.
Can I
because
see
it's
that?
coming out of its own little account, the ARPA.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's held in a different place from the general funds of the town. So,
Cause it's, something about the same procedures as the regular warrant, if you're taking money out.
no, we have to change that.
Okay,
The warrant gets signed by us, not by the select board.
Where's that?
dragging the fund.
I went over this with Adam,
Under, it's on page 10,
okay?
right before framework for trust operating approach, under Article 8 of the Declaration of Trust, the treasurer shall be the custodian, which is what you
Mhm.
said. And separate bank accounts, expenditures by the trust shall be processed in accordance with the town's payment warrant procedures, but shall be controlled by the provision.
Oh, that might cover it.
Okay,
The path is we will still, we need a warrant form that has,
Has
housing
all that
trust on it
information.
and the information for that account. And the sign off is not through the select board's office, it's
through
through
the
us.
trustees
It's through the trustees.
and the treasurer instead of the
Yes.
the.
And that might be in MGL.
Okay,
That might be what's in there.
do you want me to spell that out though?
I don't want to think for the next month.
I would like to not think for the
The
last one.
The last one. You
I mean, if
might want to say see appendix, M or whatever, money. And then we can write the appendix to go in there.
I'll look into it.
Okay. Because that was something that was not clear to me, and it's probably in here in the one that I sat down. There was one of these that I had written all up and sat down, I copied it, gave it to Adam, and we sat down and went through it, and I know I have it. Sorry, I'm not. We went over it it was February, March timeframe. When, we went through it page by page. And then I met with. What page is that on, that you have that?
Doesn't say in section 55, C.
Any copies of those?
Well, I'll look into it.
Yeah, I'll look into that and let me see. Um,
Right.
It's updated. Here. Two. I will find it. But, that needs to be, there needs to be a process that we have, that we keep. That is, how we do that.
Wait, that we keep the money or that we spend the?
When we spend the
When we
money,
spend it, yeah.
yeah, the process for spending the money with the town.
Don't see it anywhere.
Yeah. I know I went over this with Alan. Okay, I'll find it and say,
I know we talked about that before. I know we've talked about it, but I don't.
we did talk
I
about
don't
it. I never
remember
wrote
where
it
It's
down.
not in the,
Yeah, I never wrote it down other than the notes I took when I was sitting with Adam.
So does Melissa keep a separate ledger for this account
Yes,
and would make bank statements available to us?
yes,
So we always know what we've got in it.
yes.
Okay.
So, and that should all be written down so that she's aware and we're aware. So we should look at, dates for
Yep.
the next
Just
meeting.
calendar for that. Well, Karen, you'll probably have this all figured out in a month or less, right? I mean, sure, we're gonna go away in June for the first half of the month, so either meet sometime in May or it'll have to be
should
late
do
June.
Yeah. When is Memorial Day?
And when are you back? Memorial Day is
It's the 29th. Okay.
right,
So maybe the week before, we'll be back.
the week of the 22nd, you're
The
back,
week of the 22nd.
right? We're here, right? Beth?
What's that?
Week of the 22nd, we're here. And Cindy?
I am here. Like, are we doing Monday? We're thinking of a Monday?
Well, here's the
Pick a
next
day.
question. We have Chaz joining us.
So what day is he around?
Monday should work. He does water, department meetings on Mondays sometimes, because he's the liaison with them. Mondays seem to work well for
You know
us,
what? For that week, Monday would be best for me.
and do we want to do daytime or do we want to do?
Yes,
Yeah.
I prefer daytime. So we can get a Zoom link and invite him to attend. So if we do 12 or 1,
Yeah,
that might work. I'm just thinking his lunch hour.
yeah. One
1 works well. That's
works
what we
for me,
do.
if that's.
and that'd be here or probably back there.
Back at town hall. Back at
Okay.
town hall. So I'm gonna write this in, 1 PM, the 22nd. At BOS Chambers at Town Hall. With a Zoom link. And then we'll go from there for June. When do you guys get back?
15th, but give us a couple of days to get our
Yeah,
time zone straight.
so maybe the last, that last Monday in June could be a good day, the 26th.
Dave, have you ever heard of Leonid and Friends? They're from Ukraine.
No,
They do, covers of Chicago and, Steely Dan and Blood, Sweat and Tears.
no.
They're amazing.
Where do they play?
They're playing at Boarding House Park, I think.
Oh, no, this summer?
Yes. I
Okay,
think
what's her name?
summer.
Leonid,
Leonid,
like the meteors.
I got it.
Yeah, they're from Ukraine.
Cool.
And,
That'd
I
be
forget,
interesting. Thank you.
someone turned my husband on to them and we listened and we were just like, this is Chicago. It
Yeah,
was just
wow.
amazing. And just, so sad to think of
Mhm.
where they are.
Oh, my God.
And, but yeah, Leonid. And,
Thank you.
All right.
well,
I
I
think
should go
that's
vote
it.
now.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, this is, I think we're doing a lot of work.
I thought we
A lot
were
of things
too.
done. Yeah.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. We used to come to these.
I think Ronnie Carrot did a lot of work.
No, you're
Compared
picking
to
up
a few
too
months ago, when it
today,
seemed
so-
all but hopeless, really.
I know, it's kind of like, I don't know what we're doing on this.
So, and after that, we'll know whether we got the bylaw, whether we got CPA. We'll know where we stand on one of the things. Yeah, and then we can start, if we want to contact David Ross and pick up that other plan and
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
Karen, if you think there's something we're doing wrong, tell your mom and she can. Talk to us about.
Don't tell your mom.
Hey, you can stop recording now.
Yes, all right, so let's adjourn at, what time is it?
It is 2:19.
2:19 adjourn, is there a motion?
Second.
I move to adjourn.
And Beverly seconds.
And I would just like to say thank you, Karen, for,
Yes, thank you, Karen.
and thank you, Ronnie, too.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
We're getting
And
there.
a select person.
Us cats.
Thank you very much. All right, so motion to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.